Okay, we're gonna open up Planning and Zoning Commission Monday, February 2nd, 2026 at 5:31. We're gonna call to order. Commissioners, if you'd look at item number 1, approval of minutes, consider approval of January 5th, 2026 meeting minutes that are in front of you. And when you've looked over, can I get a first and second? Motion to approve. Roll, thank you. Can I get a second? I'll second. Thank you. Over the eye. Okay. We're gonna open a public hearing at 5:33. Is there any, Jessica, anyone to?
There are no speakers.
Okay, we'll close it. 5:33. Okay, the next thing, commissioners, is scheduled agenda item, something we've been discussing for 3 months. Item number 3 is discussion of any necessary action regarding the recommendation to the city commission regarding the repeal of the existing zoning regulations in chapter 22 of the Breckenridge Code of Ordinances and adoption of the new chapter 22 zoning to establish a new zoning districts, new zoning regulations for use of the property in all zoning districts, and adopt a new zoning map. Right over to Cynthia.
Okay, well, commissioners, I just wanted to recap, where we've been, Chairman, Sparks just did. We do need to take action tonight. We discussed that last, month. And so we need a recommendation to the city commission from you all. We've been reviewing this. You guys have been looking for the last 3 months. But we've been reviewing this for the last year. With the comprehensive development plan, with the public meetings, the open houses. We've got 2 public hearings. We'll have a public hearing tomorrow as well. So I think the questions you guys have had, and we do have some additional information I really want to focus on. So I don't, we've got options for you looking at the sum acreage of manufactured homes, what is current, and that is 4.34%. Option 1 was the draft option that was presented to you was 2.45% sum acreage, and then you guys wanted more options, so we went back and the consultant provided a couple more options to increase that to 5.88% of sum acreage. And option 3 was 9.73% sum acreage. The last information that you looked at or asked for that she has provided, I sent you that link that had it on there. And I'm just highlighting it here. So we were looking at some acreage, and what we wanted to do was start looking at the number of lots. So if you look at right now, currently there's 236 lots where manufactured homes are. Option 1 will actually increase that by 60 to 296 potential lots for mobile homes. And then you can see option 2 increases that by 474 potential lots to add mobile homes to, if you went with option 2 to 710. And then option 3 would increase it fourfold to 1176 from 236 of potential developable lots for mobile homes. And that was basically, I'm not going to go into, and she could, but it's basically looking at 75 square feet. And that's how she got those figures. She went back and they did all the math and all the outlining. So that's what you have before you today. This map, the only other thing I want to bring to your attention on this document that you got, we printed it out for you 2 months ago, and then we provided the updated for you in your packet. The only substantive change was federal law does not allow us to limit it to double wide mobile homes. So what we've taken that out, we have to allow single and double wide, both. So what is in this ordinance is allowance for single and double wide on our lots. So, and then the only other changes from what you have in your packet to what that hard copy that you took was a lot of formatting items, just the formatting of the document. It wasn't anything substantive. So I wanted to highlight that for you. So now it's just up to you. And again, you guys, just to remind you, you guys make a recommendation to the city commission, and then they will take final action. They may take your recommendation, they may not, but we want, that's the whole process to get your input. You guys have looked at this. Just so you know, I have been providing them updates of information about all of this all along. So they have been advised of what you guys are looking at, what some of the concerns were that were brought up with diverse housing. And, kind of honing in on the manufactured housing portion of this.
So we can discuss amongst ourselves now. Great.
Yes,
Okay, if y'all will hear me out on this, because I know he was asking a question. I told them that I thought this was muddy prior to this. This clarification makes it very clear. Because I came in here today planning to go with option 2. And after being explained and the work that this young lady did to explain, I want to go with option 1. That's just my vote, because we're currently right now at 236. We're not taking away. We're adding 60 more with option 1. If you choose option 2, it's going from 236 to 710, and we're giving almost 500 more lots. And option 3, of course, you could do the math, you're smart, but I was going to go with option 2 because it looked like we were just barely giving a little more. And that spells it out for me. So hope that was.
On the minimum size of the manufactured homes that were allowed, is that 1,000 or was that 1,200 on the size? I don't remember if it was 1,000 or 1,200.
It's,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's now so when I was here last, I think we were at 1,200, but as Cynthia just mentioned, under federal law, that can no longer be enforced.
Okay.
So federal law puts it all the way down to in the 3-digit number in the hundreds.
Okay.
So, but that's a number that sadly y'all don't get any input on. It has to go through the federal.
Okay, I was just wondering how.
Yeah.
I knew I was like, that number is gonna determine what, because you want enough people that can handle that are of that level of income that they can afford a house and still be able to be here and retain people that's going to be able to be a workforce for such as RGN or anything, other place like that. We need a workforce, enough housing for those folks, but still we want to improve the value. But if we make it too much, or not enough homes that are manufactured, I don't think we'll have enough workforce to be able to handle some of the jobs. We don't want to zone it so strict that we can't have people here that can afford to live here.
Right.
With housing.
Yeah, and the
So-
city, I mean, just with our strategic plan, we do want to provide diverse housing, but I think even with option 1, which is what our original recommendation was, you guys are free to change that. I mean, you can see that we are providing, and actually we're increasing by 60 potential developable lots.
I'm still in favor of it being a little bit higher on the 17. I'm option 2 kind of guy.
I'm sorry, you're what?
He's on option 2.
I think option 2 is a compromise.
Well,
What is your input as far as, I mean, this is your
From a
job.
planning consultant.
What do you consider as for Breckenridge?
For Breck-
I know, in my opinion, in 5 years, the way Abilene is growing, the way Weatherford and Mineral Wells is growing, we're gonna be. I'm dreaming that Breckenridge is gonna be growing crazy.
Yeah.
So
We all did a study.
that being said,
Yeah, so in the comprehensive plan study that we did, we do show y'all's population increasing because of the exact reasons you mentioned. There's a lot of development going on in the region. And as Texas as a whole continues to gain in population, that population has to go somewhere. So with your decision on that, we're in alignment that hopefully in the future Breckenridge will continue to grow. From a planning consultant perspective, we've been working on this project with the city staff for over a year now. So that option one is kind of the consultant recommendation plus your city staff recommendation. The reason we went with option one and why, as a consulting firm, we lean that direction is because most cities, while this is not always the best, currently are leaning towards limiting manufactured housing in certain areas when understandable. So most of our other clients across the state that are in areas closer to the DFW Metroplex or areas like that are leaning more towards stick-built homes over manufactured because of the rapid development that they're seeing, ensuring that when you think about development and you think about the increase of, property tax in these housing units, you also have to think about, well, if we're increasing in population and increasing, how do we wish to increase our property tax to ensure that we can pay for the water lines to be replaced going into these new areas of development and things of that nature. Our recommendation with one is it proves true to the city of Breckenridge of y'all are a West Texas community, y'all are a workforce-based community where y'all need to ensure there are options for attainable and affordable housing for all. And it also does not draw the line. I think that's one thing we haven't necessarily discussed much with y'all yet to date is I want to make sure none of y'all think that looking at this, if y'all choose option 1, 2, or even 3, that is not what y'all are stuck in for the million bazillion long-term type of discussion. Zoning updates fairly regularly. That's best practice. That's what we recommend in y'all's comprehensive plan is to do updates on a regular basis. And then additionally, as y'all do now, y'all see zoning changes come before y'all every month, every couple of months. That is still allowable if y'all decide to choose option 1, 2, or 3. So you could choose option 1 and someone could come to you and say, hey, you zoned me as this. However, this is my reasoning. And here's how that plays with y'all's zoning ordinance. Here's how that plays with y'all's future land use map. And here's how that plays with y'all's comprehensive plan. And then that would then be discussed between yourselves, with the attorney, with y'all's with y'all's ordinances that y'all currently have in place, to either approve that zoning or that zoning change or to not. And with that in mind, we go with option 1 to be a little bit more stringent than option 2 or 3, but you're still expanding the base. You're still allowing more parcels to be developed in this way. You're still allowing for these changes to occur. You're still understanding the dynamic of the city without completely lessening it, like most other cities in Texas are right now.
If I remember correctly, it's been some time. The gentleman used to come with you. In 2040, you have an estimate of like 10,000
I believe so.
for Breckenridge.
Yeah.
So that was your estimate based on your studies or whatever.
Yeah.
So by 2040, possibly 10,000.
And
Taking it
2040,
by 2040, that was their educated guess.
Yeah, whenever you take into consideration, Texas Water Development Board, US Census, the Texas Demographic Center, that's the route that they were pushing towards possible development numbers. That wasn't just an us number that we throw out there.
then that necessitates the fact that we'd have to come back and reapprove or approve some more ever so often.
Yes, so with keeping in mind that development is on the horizon, that does necessitate that y'all will need to be doing this update process and that y'all will need to be keeping in track of things. It does not mean that y'all lose the ability to do things whatsoever. If anything, from learning with our cities that are in the DFW Metroplex where they're growing at an exponential rate, while it sounds terrible, it is almost better to go a little bit more strict because that protects the city from the developer. But you're still allowed, that still allows the city to, on a case-by-case standpoint, make it an easier and a more make it an easier regulation. But it keeps y'all protected from a developer coming in and doing something completely against what y'all's mission and values stand for.
Currently, we set it according to y'all, 6,250 population. So if we chose option 1, we're increasing what currently we have at 236 to 60 more. And so, I mean, I'm not.
These 236, are they occupied at present?
So that was, it doesn't necessarily mean occupied. If you remember when we brought up that structures map, there was some that were vacant or dilapidated. That number of 236 is just lots that had a manufactured home on them when we came out and did our field study.
So it doesn't mean there is one on each lot.
Yes, it means that there's one on each lot. It doesn't mean that it's occupied. It could be a
Or
vacant
livable.
or livable,
Well,
yes.
So there
I'm
is,
telling you the condition of it.
there is at least 236 manufactured homes here in the city.
Yes, sir.
There's 236 parcels, so pieces of property that have a manufactured home on them.
We're not on the same page. I'm saying, are there actually a house sitting on that lot?
Yes.
236. They may not be livable, but they can,
I understand that. It may be a shack
yeah.
Yes.
It may be a
or a
house.
ring.
So if we went with their option that this, consultant, they were up in at 60 spots.
So you're making it from 236 pieces of property up to 296 pieces of property.
Or are the, however many difference there is there, are they already been designated?
That's what y'all are doing in this process.
Yes.
So currently, that 236 is what y'all currently have out there, what y'all's regulations have allowed up to this point. In this process, you would designate 296, 710, or 1176 for future use, would be designated to
Well,
allow
if
manufacturing.
we went with number 2, option 2, 710. Are these lots available and they just haven't been designated or what?
Well, there's that many potential lots
The-
with the acreage size
There's
that
that
they
many
have.
potential lots based on the acreage.
Within that zone.
There
Yeah,
is,
that's up.
there is that many potential
Yes,
lots?
sir.
There is that many potential?
So the-
Is there 1,176 potential lots?
So the way, our methodology of how we got to this is that very first number, as I mentioned, we went through our existing land use when we came out and we marked every single property. That's where we got 236 pieces of land. Now, from there, what we did is we drew polygons or squares over what y'all see as y'all's current map. From there, last time I was here, y'all asked us to take out roads because y'all felt that that caused some, muddiness in the waters. So we took out the acreage that would be classified as the road system. And then those parcels were added up to be that sum acreage. So that's what you see underneath sum acreage, that 2.45, 5.88, 9.73, et cetera, et cetera. And to go into more detail, that ends up being. So option 1 ends up being 51 eligible acres. Option 2 ends up being 122 eligible acres. Option 3 ends up being 202 eligible acres.
Are there, what I'm trying to establish in my mind, are there lot acreages available, or they're gonna have to be
So
opened up?
you're asking if they're vacant currently?
Sorry?
If you're asking if those acres are currently vacant?
Yes,
No, no, sir. So some of them might be, but some of them already might have a property on them, some of them might not.
and
It
how-
just makes it to where in the
how's
future,
the city go about,
It'll go into law.
pardon?
It'll go into law, and then if and when those existing properties burn or blow away or sell or move, that still allots that land for.
Well, I understand that, I'm just thinking about the additional ones we need. Have they already been designated?
We will do
They're,
that.
they're in multiple use situation right now.
Yeah. So no matter what option you pick, if you pick the 296, the 710, or the 1176, the city of Breckenridge currently only has a small amount of undeveloped land within the city limits. So no matter what option you pick, does it really necessitate what if that property is currently being used as? By choosing one of those options tonight, it will then allow the opportunity for a homeowner to come in and put what they wish to put on that property. So like, the chairman mentioned, if it was blown away, if there was a fire, if for some reason that house became, dilapidated, deteriorated. If I remember correctly, when we did y'all's field work, some of y'all's single family structures are currently dilapidated.
Yes.
So a property owner could buy that property from, the tax office for just the prices of the back taxes and go in, tear down the home and put a manufactured home on it. It's that kind of process. There is no way to really necessitate what is undeveloped and how that could go in the future really ethically, because you can't make those assumptions. even in zoning.
Well, is there acreage for already developed for 296? Is that what it is, 296?
There's acreage for 236 that manufactured homes are already on them. What you'd be doing tonight is designating possible acreage for 296. And
Potentially.
Potential.
Potential.
So-
Potential, is the acreage there?
There, it's acreage within the city limits, so yes,
There is that much acreage?
the
Is
city
there enough
limits has
enough acreage
over-
for 700 and
The city has currently
Seven.
2,043 acres inside the city limits. The city limits is 2,043 acres.
Oh, yeah, but that,
That's not counting ATJ.
This zoning does not apply to ETJ. Don't get us on that. Don't get us on that discussion. I'm not your attorney, but I will speak for her tonight, that zoning does not impact your ETJ.
How hard would it be to change the numbers? I know what you're offering, you've done your work, but how hard would it be to change it to? It just seemed like that we have such a big spread from option one and option two, like. I don't want option two because it's too many, but I don't want an option one because it's not enough. And you give us
in between?
So if y'all remember 2 meetings ago when I came the very first time, we sat here and we looked at map 1. And I made y'all pretty much tell me if you got to choose, where would y'all want manufactured homes to be? And that's how we made option 1, 2, and 3. Is y'all gave me, well, y'all have 1. Okay, here's where we would want manufactured homes if we were going for 2. Here's where we'd want manufactured homes if we were going for the biggest number possible. And that's how we drew up those maps. Ethically, I do not see how we could we could show y'all on a map what an additional 7,500 square feet times another 100 properties looks like, and y'all can discuss where y'all want that to be placed. But that's really not the best way to look at it. You want to look at like uses and how does that property merge with the other properties around it. And, if it makes sense, then great. If it doesn't, then doesn't. You want to think about how your neighborhoods are designed. You don't want to split a neighborhood in half because we want 100 more properties. So we're going to split this neighborhood in half this way and this way. That of course can be a discussion, but to answer your question, that's how we got 1, 2, and 3 was from the maps that y'all created.
And these lines don't necessarily have to be hard lines. I mean, in the future, those can be
Yes.
moved if we need to. If we
Yes.
say, if somebody comes here and wants to develop a portion of this, then we can rezone it into,
Yes.
SF1.
SF2 commercial,
Yeah.
yes. you
We
do
can,
any
we
of that.
can, this doesn't mean that this is gonna be set in stone forever.
No, so zoning map updates happen, really, you should be doing them yearly or quarterly as zoning changes come to you because you want to keep an up-to-date zoning map. A comprehensive zoning map update happens probably every 5 to 10 years, and then your ordinance update about every 20 years. So with that, yes, sir, changes can come before y'all can vote yay or nay. There's also always developers agreements and plan development districts where if somebody was wanting to come in, one of the big ones we're starting to see in the state right now is you have very big people, very big companies coming in and they want to build housing for their workforce. So they'll come in, they'll ask the city for a PUD permit in the plan development district that y'all have outlined in y'all zoning ordinance. And then the city and that developer will work hand in hand to figure out the best use for what they're needing and to meet their needs and to come to a consensus.
Yeah.
All those types of decisions are on the board for as y'all continue to grow and what y'all's needs change over
So what we're
time.
doing is what, everything that we're considering today is for what we have existing, not what future growth is. Future growth, we can control those future growths as we
Exactly.
annex in more properties. such as that.
Yes, sir.
Can we get a vote? Are y'all comfortable?
No,
Well, we do need a decision tonight.
I would agree with your expression on what you provided for us. I think we need to start somewhere. So
what we do,
I would vote for option 1.
I'll ask another question.
Yes.
How
Is that a motion?
let me ask you different. How soon will this 296 spaces be filled up?
So
It
It could be 20 years.
It may
Yes,
never
so
do.
It could be 20 years. It could be,
That's what I
Yeah.
wanna if we're not gonna fill it up in the next 10 years, okay, that's fine with me.
So the
But if we're
way,
gonna fill it up in the next year, and we're gonna come back to the zoning commission, now we're gonna have another
Yeah.
500 places.
The current,
We've wasted our time.
so the way zoning works is I have never seen a city see through fruition a zoning map. You end up having to update it before it becomes true, before all of your parcels become what you say you want them to become. In reality, zoning takes 10, 20, 30 years to start to make a difference on the landscape of the city. Because keep in mind, last time we were here, the manufactured homes that are sitting on properties today, even if we choose to change that property over to single family, they still get one more manufactured home on that property. They still get the lifespan of their current home plus the lifespan of another home. So it could be 30 years before you see all 296 properties developed. If you get mass development in a very short span of time, it could be faster. But then again, that means that your mass development is in manufactured homes. Who's to say? It could be very similar to Abilene, where their mass development has been single family properties. So it's a, you know, give and take, but in general, your zoning ordinance takes 20 plus years to come to fruition.
Well, from 296 to, from 236 to 296 is not enough. But 710, probably too much at this time.
So when you think of 236 to 296, and we were talking a population increase of about 4,000 over the next 20 years. You do have to keep in mind that 60 new homes, the average person per home for the state of Texas is sitting at about 3.6. So that's 60 times 3, that's that's a good portion, that's a good chunk of your population increase over the next coming years. When you do that math and look at what your average population is, that'll at least get you the next 5 to 10 years. Just for that's not including what could come single family development as well with in hand with the zoning ordinance, what we're opening up for that as well.
I think what he was asking, and I'm wondering also, there needs to be another option between 296 and 710.
Well,
I think the 710 is too high. Like
I do
we're
too,
saying.
but I
But the
think,
296, but then you have that option of every year or some way. If we have something happen, we have a huge growth, we could always come back and rezone.
so
to increase
that's the way
that
you're looking
option.
at it, if it fills up, we'll come back next year and rezone. Is that
I
what
was
it-
gonna say it's not gonna be within the next year.
Not
But,
maybe.
but when it does fill up, that is the opportunity that y'all have in front of y'all. Y'all adopted y'all's comprehensive plan 3 years ago now. So your comprehensive plan is already a third through its life cycle. So you're already looking at, another 7 years and you're gonna start into comprehensive plan discussions, which
yes,
automatically
We'll
opens
come back
all
to
for
zoning.
future land use, zoning,
Yeah.
land, use, all those things.
the reason why I have the option 2 is because it's including a lot of land that I don't think, that's potential you can get set up to 710 if you broke it down all into 7,500 square foot, but I don't think that that's gonna be a realistic number of how big it's gonna be, or that number of actual. I think the lot will be bigger than that on the current properties in the areas that we're talking about where we're doing that. I don't think it'll be that great of an actual number is
I think-
what I see, how I'm looking at it through the city, what I just see how they are, because there's a lot of properties that are a lot of the area that we're including is including area that's bigger properties, so it's a tiny bit skewed as to actuality of the number on that 17. I think that's a little more than what it really is gonna actually pan out to be, if it lasted all the way through.
Yeah, and that's when you get into the if, ands, buts,
Yeah.
and the how do people choose to subdivide their land and all those fun things that I wish I could give y'all the crystal ball for.
I have one question, is it easier to, I don't know how to word it, is it easier to have it going, to zone it down versus zoning things back, zoning up?
So, like I mentioned
Okay.
earlier, most cities currently in the state, if y'all have been keeping up to date with state legislature, the developer has the upper hand currently. It's point blank, that's the way it is. The city now is very regulated on what they're allowed to do with the developer, how they're allowed to negotiate with the developer, and what they're allowed to say to the developer. So most of our cities, in order to keep their upper hand and to keep developers from coming in and, for lack of better words, taking advantage of the city, They are choosing to go stricter with the understanding that if something were to come up, they have options to go lesser. That's the overall consensus.
That's kind of what that's what I was wanting to understand. That makes.
I'm comfortable
Does
for
that-
a vote.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Our best option is option one at this point, if we need to move it.
Yeah, we can
move it at
change
this point.
in years to come. We'll never even see that probably in our time at the end.
If y'all choose the PMI again,
If
10
it's
years,
too many,
y'all,
we can-
y'all get all the numbers all over again, whenever we come redo y'all's comp plan, we promise.
So
We'll come to you
Commissioners, can
again.
we have a vote? And did you make a roll?
Motion to, I guess, I don't know, to approve the,
Motion to make a recommendation for approval of
Well,
zoning ordinance.
yeah,
Yes.
We'll write it in the minutes
we'll get it
appropriately.
right, but we just need, if you guys are choosing.
The motion like to choose option one of
I wish we had another in between, but we don't, so.
This is that one.
Me and the attorney will make sure the legal language is correct.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say the number. I want option one.
Well, but
He just made a motion,
He made a
so
motion.
we need a second.
we need to say.
I'll second.
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
Option one.
All opposed?
Any opposed?
Any opposed?
Okay.
Vote one? Okay.
Don't like it, but that's the best we got.
Yeah, we can always change.
Yeah, that's the thing.
If they said we couldn't, maybe we'd revisit.
Well, again, just to reiterate what she said, a future zoning map, even with the amount of growth, even though we're gonna have some growth, it's not fast growing community. We're not gonna see a change in the landscape of Breckenridge for quite some time. When it comes to mobile homes, the other factor is what Corey mentioned, and we've mentioned, is that, they get another 30 years for a manufactured home. So and then anybody can come in and ask for zoning, and then it's a case by case basis. Now, that being stated, I did want to reiterate that we are regulated and we have to, we have a comprehensive plan for a reason. And now we will have, we don't yet, but we'll have a comprehensive zoning map for a reason. And so there's gotta be, it's always looking at like uses, it's protecting private property, respecting private property.
And
all of those
taxing
things.
agencies too, they can build areas that are for that area, they can tax everything in that area for a certain. amount.
Right. So. Okay, so, and this is a recommendation that'll go to city council, city commission, and tomorrow night.
I'm sorry.
Just-
Thought you
Corey,
said I-
Corey, I'm sorry, but I didn't see your vote, so I just need you to confirm your vote.
Option one.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I couldn't see, so.
I'm
So-
negative now.
4
I got you.
ayes and 1 nay.
Correct.
Maybe.
Well, you guys did a lot of work. I know you've been working on it for a while, several months. We've looked at it. So, and just so you know, again, just reminding, I know you guys know this, but we updated the comprehensive development plan about a year and a half ago. But that was the first time it's been done since 1963. So yes, we do need to do this on a more regular basis, and we will. But that's what we were dealing with. So now, I think we've got a pretty good path forward.
Just had a conversation. Why do you think it's not been updated on a regular basis since 1963?
Well, I will,
Really?
from my
Yes.
perspective, it just hasn't been a lot of growth.
Okay,
There hasn't been.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
From a planning perspective, from the back in 1990 until about 2010, there was really it was stagnant all around. Planning hadn't back in 1963, if you want a planning history lesson, is when the big bills were pushed to allow, zoning and all these other things. And you started to see it in places like New York, San Diego, things like that. So everybody else took on to that pattern. But until about the early 2000s, mid 2010s, cities didn't really need it the same way because development wasn't there. Like
Well, but what I would say, if you're in the DFW,
Oh, yeah.
growth area.
higher growth areas started much earlier. Yeah, that's what I meant. The New York, the San Diego, the Dallas.
DFW,
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Well,
not Houston, they didn't have planning.
Yeah,
They didn't have zoning or anything like that.
I was talking to an AT&T guy and he was telling me that their charts show Breckenridge being the outskirts of the Metroplex in 2034, which is right around the corner.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but
So that's a little quick.
And that's where those population numbers came from, that when we said 10,000 by 2040, that's, we were following those same thought processes and all the research that's been done so far.
Okay, guys, if you don't mind, for time purposes, can we adjourn? Can I get
I make a motion we adjourn.
all in favor?
All right, we'll close at,
6:07.
What about the ETJ? Are we able to, consider it?
No.
Futuristic anything?
There, no, we cannot annex